1, 2, 3.
What's up, Milwaukee and the world? Welcome to another episode of Saved and the City with your girl, Iberia. I'm so excited to have each and every one of you tuning in. It truly does mean the world to me. What would make me even more excited than you guys tuning in is if you guys would follow me on social media. I go live every time we do the episodes on Wednesdays, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. So like me on Facebook. If you can find me at Saved and the City, join my Facebook groups. Let's stay connected. Just search for Saved and the City radio show to join the group. Follow me on Instagram at Saved and the City. Follow me on Twitter at Saved_in_the_city. That was a little complicated, but y'all smart. Y'all can get it. And if you like what you're hearing, please spread the word to your friends and your family to tune in. I really, really could use your support every week. So speaking of support, this week's broadcast is sponsored by Arnita Holloman of Arnita Renee Enterprises, LLC. Check out our website at www.arnitarenee.com or give her a call at 414-915-9298. She's a professional counselor, speaker, educator, and advocate, and she's available to book at your next event. We'll talk more about Arnita during church announcements and MKE's treasure segments. Also got to give a shout out to Tasha Lockett that won last week's Word Up Challenge. She actually won a t-shirt and Montre Slayton's new EP, so we're so excited for her. And then the week before, I think it was Brandy who won the caramel cake from Meemaw's Kitchen. So we give away some amazing things on our radio show every week. And again, we're so excited. We can't do this without each of you tuning in. So you already know how it goes. We jump right into Hot Topics. I'm so excited to have my Hot Topics guest host here today. And we're going to talk about some really serious things. This is actually something that we talked about during the Saved in the City launch. For those people who missed that, oh my God, you missed a treat. We were down at the My City, My Biz Small Business Expo. And during our Hot Topics, we had some amazing guests. And we talked about to expose or not to expose, the price of transparency. And that really just talks about when to reveal yourself, when not to reveal yourself. Everybody can't handle your truth. Everybody want to walk around talking about, oh, this is my truth, this is who I am. But as I always say, I don't do it alone. So excited to have my guest host here with me, Pastor Joel Peterson. We go so far back. How you doing, Joel?
Doing well.
Awesome. Tell the people a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do.
Definitely.
How you know me?
I know Brandy from all the way back. We went to Howard University together.
Yes, come on, Howard.
Yeah, definitely School of Fine Arts.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I originally met Brandy, but then we split up after graduation, and then we found ourselves in Milwaukee together. So great to be reunited with the old friend.
And so, tell them a little bit about what you do specifically. You're a pastor, where you affiliated, church-wise,
so
all of that?
I'm one of the worship pastors at Praise Temple International Church. And so I do counseling, I do preaching, counseling as well, and a host of other things. I'm a musician as well. I sing with the praise team. So I do a lot of things with Praise Temple International.
Right. So actually, we do that. He good and holy right now. But I mean, even then, we've always been good kids. To an extent. Praise God. But when I was doing Iberia, soul singer, and all that type of stuff, he actually was my first lead guitar player. Absolutely. So we go far back, and we've had many conversations. But Joe, I want to talk about what I said earlier, transparency. And we talk all the time. We really, since college, we've always had these really deep conversations. And so I was like, I need to bring my boy on the show. Let's talk about the price of transparency. What is too much? I'll give you a quick example. I kind of brought this up when we were down at My City, My Biz. Pastor Leandria, I always forget her last name, but she was the singer off of... I always forget that. Sunday's Best, right? Yeah, Sunday's Best. And so she won, and wow, she was elevated very, very quickly. And a lot of people who follow her on social media have seen a lot of different sides of Miss Leandria. And it's not always been in the best light, but she will stand firm on it, because she's a pastor. I think it's a Church of Change or something similar to that. And boom, she cussing and drinking, but she real.
Right.
You know, she keeping it real. Let's talk about it.
Well, I think there has to be some extent when you're in leadership where you have to represent your brand. We talk about representing our brand all the time in business. And, you know, I do a lot of that work in my business. But when we're talking about representing our brand, a brand is a promise to the people. And if we are talking about Jesus is our brand, as Christians or definitely as pastors and leaders, then we must constantly be on, I would say. And we can't necessarily cause people to stumble, because people will automatically lean towards grace. They will automatically lean towards, oh, I can do whatever I want to do.
God knows my heart.
God knows my heart, absolutely. And so people will automatically lean towards that. And so they're looking for any type of way to do that. I will say that it's very important that you don't put on airs that you're so holy and that you're never human. That is important, but to what extent? I think that's what we're talking about.
And I think my concern, and I'm so with you on that. Like, if you literally are repping, okay, so my brand is Jesus, so and this is what he represents. We like you said, in business, we hold so true to that. Right. You know, if it's Nike, if it's whatever it is, but are there unattainable standards that we set for folks in leadership and in ministry, that at some point you do just say, well, you know what, this is me. I'm tired of holding up this, you know, facade for a lot of people.
I think there's ownership on both sides of that. I think as the audience, we do set unattainable standards. We look to people instead of looking to God.
Talk about it.
There's scripture after scripture that tells you not to depend on man, not to look towards man, and only to look towards Jesus. So I think we have to own, as the audience, the standard that we set. At the same time, as leaders, we have to own what I would like to call, and I actually wrote this down because I said transparency is necessary when we participate in the magic of spirituality. When we are always, oh, God told me, and we're all in this kind of realm of spirituality all the time, then transparency becomes necessary because you've set an unattainable standard.
Right.
And that's very important as well. But at the same time, there's ownership on both sides. We can't set a standard that's so high that only Jesus can attain.
Come on here, because you're not God. And I think sometimes, a lot of us do have a God complex.
Absolutely.
You know, and especially when you get certain titles and certain things. Right. And there are certain things, I think, in leadership, and this is something else that I said, when we're dealing with the Christian culture and Christian people, you said it right, when we're dealing with the audience or the congregation, they have this standard of a God man. Right. That, you know, that if they fall or falter in some area, then I ain't going to church no more. Sure. Or I'm not doing this. But what I was saying the other day at My City, My Biz was that it's really a standard. Of course, as Christians, we have we're set apart, but it's really a standard of leadership in general. Absolutely. Because if we're dealing with a President Obama, you know, who maybe he's a believer, but, you know, we don't think of him as being like, you know, I'm not going to say saved for real. Ooh, President Obama, I love you. I really do. No, but you know what I'm saying? Like, if he's not sitting at church every day, we ain't like, oh, he ain't the president. Sure. But if he does step outside of character as a leader, we do hold him accountable. So there's just a standard of leadership we need to step up
and
to.
Like when I first mentioned brand, if we were going to look for a personal trainer, we go and we find this online, and then we go there, and then everyone there is like 70 pounds overweight. And then we're like, wait a minute, I don't know if this is the place I need to be, because I'm trying to get here. Yeah. And if people aren't representing their brand, then I probably don't want anything to do with it. So I think if we hold that standard in business, I think the same standard of leadership that you're talking about needs to be held with the people that deem themselves as leaders.
So when is it okay? Because I also truly believe that exposure and being transparent that there's a time and a place for it. Sure. when is the right time? You know, sometimes once people feel like they sold out for God, they just sharing their testimony everywhere. I mean, and not just when you're a new Christian, but I'm saying when you've taken on a role of pastor, minister, whatever, you know, set apart, you're a leader. And everybody can't, that's what I said earlier, everybody can't handle your truth.
Sure.
So when do you expose?
I honestly believe that has to be led by God. I don't think there's a blanket answer that says this is when you expose what you're doing. I think it is very important that you let everyone know that everybody is on a journey and nobody is there yet. And we all make mistakes. And I think it's very important that you set that framework within the people that are in your under your leadership, that we are all on a journey. But when to expose exact specifics, I think that has to be led by God, because sometimes it can be detrimental, and sometimes it could definitely be beneficial to the body.
And I think we should always, even in that testimony and exposure, we should always be pointing people back to the cross.
Absolutely.
You know, when it comes down to it, because, you know, a lot of times, sometimes people are exposing themselves or being transparent for selfish gain.
Sure.
Like, look at me, I'm real.
Right.
You know, and sometimes it's at a cost.
Yes.
So let's talk about the price.
Yes.
You know, the price of transparency.
I think the price, and since we're talking about the price is greater when you as a leader haven't been compassionate in your rebukes. So if you've been compassionate in the way that you've drawn people to Christ, or the way that you've talked about sins, and the way that you've talked about things that are wrong, then it's easier for you to be transparent. But just looking at Ty Tribbett, for instance, he went so hard, album after album. It was just ridiculously hard. I'm going hard for God, and I'm doing this, and I'm not turning back, and all this. And so then when his thing came out, it was like, what?
You know what? I'm so glad you brought that up, because that's what. Because I think I might have sent you some information on Ty Tribbett in Israel. Like, those are like the worship leaders, and I'm like, yes, they sold out. But I cheated on my wife.
Right.
And if I'm if I'm transparent right now, you can see a little bit through me. It affected me. It affected how I viewed them. And I think that's the thing that we forget when we start exposing ourselves, that I might have an intention that, man, when I share this secret, you're going to see how real I am, and it's probably going to set you free. For some people, it's going to close them up.
Right. And I think that as a leader, anytime you make a decision, you're going to lose some people and you're going to gain some people.
Ooh.
So I think that's with any decision you make, whether it's transparency or whether to do whatever the case is. As a leader, that's the price of leadership. Every time you speak, you're going to gain and you're going to lose.
And I think that's the thing that we need to take into accountability, that there really is a price.
Right.
When you decide I'm going to be a leader, or I'm going to step out and do this and do that, then like you said, you may lose some people.
Right.
And in that, you can't say, now I'm throwing in the towel.
Sure.
Because everybody's not going to agree with what you're saying, but you got to stand true.
Got to stand true.
So I guess when you were dealing with like a level of accountability, you know, and I guess like you said, you got to be led of God, because there are certain people that, again, I'm kind of going back to a point I just made, that everybody can't know your stuff.
Sure.
And I don't care how real you want to be, everybody can't know your stuff.
Right.
Is it only a spouse that you can tell? Like, how you know who your constituents are?
I definitely think that every leader needs a, quote, board of directors.
Yes.
And if it's not an official board of directors, it needs to be a wise counsel that you are around, that you can discuss things like this with, that will hold you accountable personally, but then also advise you sometimes on when to and when not to. Because when you're in the middle of it and you're emotionally tied to it, sometimes when and where is cloudy. And so you need that counsel. And the scripture talks about having that counsel around you of wise people that can help you through that little muddy time. Because, like I said, there is no blanket answer as to say, I'm going to expose at this time. There is no handbook on when to expose. If God is leading you to expose, and it's up to you to know your flock or know the people that are under your leadership, can they handle it?
Yeah.
Because some people can't.
Some people can't.
Some people can't, and you have to know that. So it can't be for selfish gain. It can't be for anything like that. If God is leading you to be transparent, then you have to be transparent and understand you're going to lose some people. But some people are going to be like, wow, I made that same mistake too. And now they're closer.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, no, man, Joe, we really could go on and on about this topic and get a little deeper. The price of transparency, it's a real thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you expose too soon, then you're gonna have some blood on your hands.
Yes.
Seriously.
Absolutely.
And so anyhow, you guys know what time it is. It's time for Word Up. So those of you who are tuning in or watching live on Facebook, give me a scripture that goes along with what we talked about. Give me something on transparency. Give me something on when you should share your sins with your brothers. Something about exposure, anything like that. And you have an opportunity to win, I think it's a 3-day and 2-night stay at a hotel of your choice. It's going down. Oh my God. Okay, so we're going to go to Sarita Campbell on Bloody Hands. Except it's not ready. We're trying to get her music up. So anyway, listen, y'all, as I'm going, like the other day, one of the girls inboxed me and she told me I was gonna go back live, but I didn't want to win 3 times. I was like, okay, come on with it. She can win 3 times. So again, this is a 3-day, 2-night stay. This is sponsored by PMI Business Group. We're so excited that they were able to sponsor the Word Up Challenge this week. We are trying to get Sarita Campbell's music up and going so we can do the same thing. The first scripture that we have, did I see something? Okay, we're going to come back to it in about 3 minutes. Let's go, Sarita Campbell. Oh, yeah, we out there. Oh, they said a fee. Oh, I forgot. Hey, y'all. I see Tina. Hi, Lydia. Okay. I think Tanae is first. Tanae, you are the winner, honey. All right. That's Bloody Hands playing? Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I know it's kind of quick. It's like, oh, what are we doing? Okay. So you actually can move out,
Yep.
and then, Sarita, you're going to come over. Hey, Feeney, can you tell me the name of this person again? Who just put the scripture up on the. Her name is Tanae, and what she say? Second Ephesians. What is it?
Ephesians 5:15.
Ephesians 5:15. What's her name?
Tanae, Tenine, Tenine.
What's her last name?
Fleck.
Tanine
I
Fleck.
can write it down.
Yeah, Tanine Fleck in Ephesians.
I forgot about that. Put my time in.
You forgot to do what?
Put my time in at work. I didn't do it when I get in.
Okay, just. Oh, Ephesians. Okay.
hey, just let you know that John Daniel just texted me. He said it's really low.
Even me or you?
Yeah, but it's like, it's really low.
Okay, he said it's really low, so I don't know.
Hello?
Okay.
Hey, what's going on? Yeah, I was hitting you up because it said something about someone going to start at like 6:24 a.m. I'm like, I don't know what that is. But that is going to start though, huh?
Oh, scoot
Yeah.
up some, Sarita. Just so you can scoot up so you can actually be on the thing. Could you move the phone for me a little bit?
Yeah.
So I can see. Just move
This
it
portion
over.
of my nose.
No,
Right here.
I said it's
There,
going to start
perfect.
at 6:24 a.m. It's like long. Okay. Yeah, I just closed it. It just said close or restart now. I just closed it. Right.
What time is it?
Okay.
Okay, we can fade down
Cool.
Daytona.
I'll just make sure I'm here on the time. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Yeah, what it is when I was saying like speaking to the crowd.
Yeah, you
That's
know
what I'm
I'm in
saying.
there. So make sure you write in there when you're talking.
Alright, ready.
What's up? What's up? We're back, and that was Sarita Campbell with Bloody Hands. I'm so excited to have her in the studio today, so we're going to jump right in and talk to her in a few minutes. But first up, we want to give a congratulations to Tanine Fleck, who is the winner of this week's Word Up Challenge. She gave the scripture Ephesians 5:15, and we were talking about the price of transparency. So congratulations, Tanine Fleck. You are the winner of a 3-day, 2-night hotel stay of your choice. I will inbox you and get you the information that you need to be able to, yes, honey, it'd be real. Sarita said she should have called in, but she in the studio. Sarita, what's up, girl? How you feeling?
I'm good.
You Gucci. I love you, Sarita. Dude, like, this is my girl. Like, y'all heard that music, and I thought the song was so appropriate, Bloody Hands, the fact that we're dealing with, like, transparency and just the price of, exposing yourself or somebody else exposing you. So you better make sure that what you're doing behind closed doors is what you want to be seen.
Exactly.
That's all I'm saying. Let's talk about tell the people I know who you are, but you tell for folks who don't know Sarita. If you don't know Sarita, you ain't from Milwaukee. That's all I'm going to say. But tell the people who you are. Tell them about Crossing Jordan, your church, all of that type of stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'm Sarita Campbell.
Aww.
Born and raised in North Carolina, moved here in 1997, married my husband.
Hey, Pastor Rodney.
And then we started Crossing Jordan Ministries.
Yes.
And we just got a new location.
You do?
Yes.
Okay, I'm geeked about that.
It's on 606 West Concordia Avenue. We're about to start hitting that block up.
That's what I'm talking about.
For real. I mean,
it's so needed.
No time for just sitting, but that community needs somebody.
Wow. And there y'all are.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Ready. But let's talk about the music. I mean it's so a part of you. There is. Without Sarita, there's no music. Without music, there's no Sarita. All of that is kind of all together. Bloody Hands, where did that come from? Talk about it. Even the album cover is like, dang. Seriously.
Dang for the album cover. But Bloody Hands it's an accountability CD. You know what I'm saying? And when it was given to me by God at first, convicted me.
Wow.
Because here we are, we're saying that we're Christians, and a lot of Christians are quiet. We don't really go out and really explain or tell people that we're saved like we really ought to. And some people do that because if people know, then they're going to be held accountable.
Right.
So you keep it blanketed, keep it under the covers, and don't want anybody to know. But this is just revealing the truth. There is going to be a judgment day. God is going to judge us, and He's going to be judging your spirit. He's going to be. He ain't going to be judging your flesh. Your flesh is going to die. We try to show that. A lot of times.
That's deep.
We try to show our flesh, and hey, here it is. Here I am.
Here's my works. I'm showing up to church every Sunday.
We made that up.
Yeah.
We made that up.
Yeah.
You can get plastic surgery, and it looks like you're without flaws.
Baby. Or you look like you a whole woman and you a man.
But if they could just see what the doctors did up under that skin.
Baby, what's in your spirit? That's deep!
So,
I can't take it. Okay, so, actually I can't take it. Give it to me because, seriously, we need to be able to take this because this is real talk. So, Bloody Hands, that's like the one of the singles on the EP. Is that what you say? I always say album and people be like,
album.
But it's not really an album.
It's not, but
But okay, the album.
Yeah.
So what's some of your favorite songs on there? Talk about who. I mean, did you produce everything or?
Yeah, most of the stuff on the CD I produced, I recorded in my basement.
Yeah, see, people don't even know.
And then I had Wax Poetic Caleb to actually do the mastering for me. I got a couple outsiders, a guy from Paris, France, that produced one of.
But that's the same dude that did. Is it the same dude? Pressing On.
Yes,
wow.
Yeah, and of course I got Takiti from Africa to be on one of my songs called Hero. So I mean, I try to venture out and get some different people.
Oh wow! Well, I love it. So what's your favorite song on the record?
If I had a choice, it would probably be Soul on Me, No Turning Back. It's so much truth in that little bit of time, and it's so real.
Yeah, yeah. I think my favorite is Soul Cry, so I'm so glad that we have it on here. So I definitely want to listen to another one of Sarita's songs. I don't know if we have Die to the Flesh ready, but we're ready to go to that. So excited. So Sarita, I gotta have you come back on the show. Because not just for the song, because you just have a powerful testimony in itself. You know, so I want to talk deeper about just a lot of different things. And so Die to the Flesh is one of my favorite songs. Daytona, we got it loaded up. We ready to go? All right. Well, thank you, Sarita, so much for coming on. Once we get the song loaded up, we're going to put it on in. Next up, we have, I did want to quickly talk about, because we're going to go into church announcements now, and I did want to talk about, again, our amazing, amazing sponsor, Arnita Holloman of Arnita Renee Enterprises, LLC. Thank you so much, again, for sponsoring this week's broadcast of Saved in the City. Arnita is available for booking at your next conference and or event. She's a speaker, educator, counselor, and advocate. I've actually been to one of her sessions there's a series of events she does called Love Notes, which is really, really, really dope. And it's an opportunity to really take a look at yourself. A lot of times people say you can't love anybody else until you can first love yourself. And so the amazing part about that is she helps us to get down to the root of being able to love ourselves. And a lot of times that's dealing with some deep-rooted hurts and ill feelings and different things like that. And so Arnita, I know that we wanted to try to have a recording of you playing, but I'd love to have you come on the show and we can talk more about that. So let's jump right into church announcements. All right, so actually we were talking about Arnita Holloman, and one of the events that she has coming up is on Saturday, October 22nd, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. She's going to be at a conference called Unashamed. It's a women's conference presented by What's Your Truth, and the guest speaker is Arnita Holloman. There's actually a lot of different women who are on this particular event, and I know Anita Clinton is another one of the speakers who is absolutely amazing. And basically they're saying for everybody there to meet them there and transform their life. Shame comes with many faces. What face are you wearing? And that's actually going to be happening at World Outreach and Bible Training Center on 3410 West Silver Spring Drive in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The conference is absolutely free. The luncheon is only $25. Enjoy vendors, raffles, and more. Be sure to register online at unashamed2016.eventbrite.com. Also, Arnita is going to be appearing at the Victorious Women of Praise annual conference, which is happening Friday, November 18th through the 20th. And that's and also this particular year. This means war, no spoils, no battle. Arnita is actually going to be the luncheon speaker there, and that's happening at Christian Fellowship Church, and that's not Christian Faith, because I almost got that mixed up myself. But it's at Christian Fellowship Church, 2176 North 39th Street in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm going to continue with church announcements because something happened to our music. So hopefully we'll be able to get some more up in a little bit. So I'm going to ask Miss Lydia Beasley to come on over as we're talking. And so I have a couple more things that I want to announce before we get into this week's Milwaukee Treasure. So the next event that's coming up is actually on Sunday, October 30th. This is Envisioning Your Future, Covered in Purpose. Guest speakers are Chandra Cooper and Takara Whitman. And basically that is costing you $15 general admission, $25 for VIP. And that's going to be at the Grace Center. Next up, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturday, October 20th, is an event produced by Surge. It's called How to Get Hired and Succeed in Life. Make sure you check that out on October 22nd from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Also happening tonight on October 19th at 7 p.m. is the Festival of Praise Tour, and that's at Christian Faith Fellowship Church, 8605 West Good Hope. And there's also some other things that are going on tonight, so make sure you stop by the art, accounting, and wine event happening that's presented by the accounting firms. And I actually happen to have one of the accountants here with me today. I'm so excited to announce her as our Milwaukee treasure this week. She has so many amazing things that she's doing in our community and around. And Miss Lydia, thank you so much for being on the show.
Oh, thank you for having me. This is the first time I've been on this end of it. You are great.
Oh my, well, thank you, because I'm like, oh, we're working through technical difficulties.
No,
I'm like,
this is awesome.
I'm like, where's my break? I need
Yeah.
to be able to breathe. That's going on, but it's all good, Lydia. You know I love you.
I love you too.
We could talk about so many things. We could talk about creative images. We could talk about, I mean, creative by design. Let me get my life together. But we're actually here to talk about our accounting and whatnot. I got to say one thing before I let you say a little bit more. I got this event last week, and I posted it, and I made fun, because I was like, if y'all saints don't quit sending me events talking about we gonna be sipping, but it's all right for us to have some wine in the Lord.
Absolutely.
All right,
absolutely.
let's talk about it, and the coupling of accounting and wine. Who thought about that?
Well, you know what? It's the changing that God has been doing in my life, that everything doesn't have to be just that thing. I've been doing accounting for 20 plus years, and here probably long, and we know long before I recognized God started changing me, I was changing. And as I started changing, it's like, okay, everything doesn't have to be just a single thing.
Yeah.
Let's get together, let's talk, and let's enjoy it. You know, you only have this moment for this thing for this time. So enjoy that moment at that time, and let's combine some stuff.
Wow.
So,
wow.
you know, always trying to figure out how to support people. So local artists, you know, displaying their things. While we talk, we got 3 new accountants. Let's talk about them. And then let's just look at the art that's around and enjoy it. While for those who drink, you know, sip the wine. And
Not to get drunk, y'all. Come on here. I can't take. I heard somebody in the spirit. No, you can't get drunk. You gotta call.
No, never drunk. There's nothing wrong with it at all. I mean, I don't actually drink, but I'm having an event with wine. So, but it's to be enjoyable, but to also talk about the things that, especially those of you who are in business.
Yes.
What are your needs? What are the things that you need? You need to have a relationship with an accountant, not just an accountant.
Exactly.
So why not have this as a social type of thing where you can sit around and talk, instead of, you know, sometimes people are intimidated or they have something else going on. But these are going to be real conversations that you get to have. You know, where's your business now? Where do you want it to be 3 years from now? And you can't do that without planning.
I really love, because I honestly have not seen anything done like this. I mean, there's nothing, Solomon says there's nothing new under the sun. But for me, when I think about accounting, I want to run the other way. I'm like, literally, like, I don't want to think of, and a lot of people are like that when they think about numbers and they think about trying to figure out a budget and that type of thing. And so the fact that you are coupling it with something social, I think is great, because these, regardless of if we want to deal with it or not, we got to deal with it.
Absolutely, and absolutely, and that's the point. And it just came to me, you know, the creative side of me is starting to take over. So doing that, and the guys in the office are just so excited about this. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're excited too. They're like, well, you know what? This sounds like a good thing.
Yeah.
Accounting and wine. Yeah, and especially to talk to the people who are, you know, normally like, I don't want to talk about this, I don't want to deal with this, and we're saying, you know what, it's time for us to take over. It's time for your dreams and your visions and all of that to be set in stone, and to start making it happen. You know, no more talking about it. This is almost the end of the year. This is a perfect time to talk about it, because we can help you before the end of the year, and then help you budget for 2017. Where are we going? And we always say we, because we feel like we're partners with you. Where are we going with your business? What are you doing with it? Let us help you get that on point and just catapult it off.
I'm going to have to be there tonight. And it's happening tonight, 6 a.m. I'm not going to drink wine, though, y'all, because I already know. We already talked about transparency. Y'all can't handle leadership. So, yes, I will be having some water or some soda.
We'll have water and tea and lemonade.
I'll have some lemonade. But anyhow, on October 19th, which is tonight, if you're going to the Festival of Praise, stop here first. Get your account and get your numbers and things together from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. And it's going to be at 1850 North Dr. Martin Luther King Drive. That's the second floor. Parking is in the rear. I have an issue saying rear. I say weir for some reason. Anyway, wine, appetizer, desserts, and art. And it's free, y'all. You ain't even got to pay, so you ain't got no excuse not to handle your business. So the conversation is strategic plans for future business. I'm all about it. Now, before we end up going to break, you said that there's going to be some art shown. Now, is this some pieces from Creative by Design, or
it's
what?
both? So
Okay.
there's some pieces from Creative by Design, and that's another business that I'm working that I'm a partner in. But it'll be some art from there, but it'll also be some art from local artists. So things that pieces that local artists have made will be up and for sale, and they're beautiful. I mean, I put up one local artist. You know, who would think that in your accounting office on the walls that people would see that?
Yeah.
But they do.
Yeah.
And it's pleasing to them. So one artist, she sold out of her stuff, her pieces. So we've brought back some new ones, and right now we've got 2 artists that are featured, potentially 3, and then some pieces from Creative by Design.
Awesome, Lydia. I'm so glad you were able to stop by. I really am going to stop by tonight because I need to focus and deal with stuff I don't want to deal with. You know, because we get to have food with it too. So I'll be there. I gotta have you come back. You know, we can have all kinds of conversations.
Yes, I do. I love you.
I love it.
And your mother.
Yeah, and my mama. Yes, we're going to have her back on the show, too. All right, so we want to go to a song by Sarita Campbell. If you got Died in the Flesh ready, let's do it. Do it. Hey! Oh, my God. That was painful. I was like, how do I do this? Y'all hanging with me? Hey, Tiana. Who else we got on here? Terrence, Valerie, Myronica. Let's see. You know, me and this bag on, I don't have to have my phone card. You know what I might have to have you do? Go to my car. Remember that it was this one right here that it actually worked. The other one didn't work. For iPhone? Yes, come on.
No, it's we got calling you.
I was breaking laws trying to get here.
That's good. That's what, yeah.
They said it was callers. We got the phone over here now and everything, where they can talk straight to the callers.
Oh no, we got to talk.
You got the headphones.
Oh man, it's
Nervous.
I don't know, like they sing me a lot of songs. They never needed that many songs. Yeah, I did that. Yeah, I had at least 3 or 4 songs for them.
Yeah, I didn't know that then. It was just like, what? Oh, just say aloud.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I ain't grabbed about 15 I never needed it.
You gotta make sure you're talking right in here or people won't hear you.
Like Joe, sound like he was sitting in another room.
Right, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, that's the only thing you didn't talk into the mic.
But y'all be trying to be so soft. He's like this and the one
He's cool. He's cool. He had to be cool.
Hold on.
Hey, welcome back. That was Sarita Campbell and Die to the Flesh. We are back. Oh my God, that's such amazing guests, and thank you guys for just kind of bearing with us through the technical difficulties today. You know, we're going to get better as we go and as we grow. The next segment that we want to talk about is the power of forgiveness, and I have an amazing woman sitting here with me today. Her name is Minister Mia Lott, and she's going to share with you guys some of her personal testimony, and then we're going to kind of dig into it a little more, and really, because it's not always easy to forgive, especially when you're dealing with things that are, crushing to your spirit and to your soul. And so, without further ado, Mia, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me, Iberia.
You know, you've been hanging with me tight, honey. You was at we did the Saved in the City launch, and she was actually one of my Hot Topics guest hosts, and we were talking about the price of transparency that we continued with Joel earlier in the show. But let's just jump right into it. When we're dealing with forgiveness, talk to the people about who you are, your church affiliation, all that type of stuff, and just kind of jump right into your testimony.
Okay. Well, my name is Mia Lott, and I am a minister at Temple of the Holy Spirit, where my pastor is Pastor Gloria.
Yes, she good to say when you know how to say it right.
Yeah, then you give honor to the pulpit.
The pulpit and the pulpit. We got the radio station.
I give honor to the radio station. and actually, the man and woman of God that actually owns the radio station.
One of them, yes.
Yeah, so,
Pastor Hill.
Yes, Pastor Hill.
Faith Church, come on in here.
So just give honor to be here on this morning, and thank you, Iberia, for even trusting me to talk about this. And when she first asked me, I most definitely wanted to run the opposite way.
She was like, let me think about it. I was like, okay, so Wednesday at 8, cool.
And so, sometimes, the testimony that we go through, it is for someone else. And I actually have to give a shout out to Pastor Randolph of Kingdom Faith.
Yes.
I was at a service, and he preached about the scars. And that, we have scars, and we want to just keep them to ourselves. And I have to admit that my scars haven't been healed. And my testimony started about 8 years ago. My ex-husband molested my children. And so thank God for his forgiving power. And I could tell you today, I stand and I do forgive him.
That was their father? Or
it was their father, yes.
Wow.
And so,
wow.
And they were small children. I just thank God that it didn't go as far as, you hear stories of devastating things.
And just years and years and years and years.
Exactly. And we see so many wounded women and wounded men. It's just not, about females, and that they don't get healed. And when it happened, I made up in my mind at that moment, even though it didn't feel like I wanted to forgive anybody, I wasn't in a place to, felt like it was going to ever heal.
Right.
But I had to make up in my mind, make that choice. I said, bitterness will not set up in my household. These young ladies will not be bitter. And they will not choose an alternate lifestyle due to being angry at men at such an early age, because you have to start speaking some things. And so, it's interesting. You call it the power of forgiveness.
Wow.
Power is generated. Power just doesn't come flop out the sky. No, it's generated, whether by natural fuels, the sun, or something. So the power of this forgiveness was generated by something happening. And yes, it was devastating, and your story may not be that devastating. And yes, this is like certain people have heard the testimony and know the details of it. But I've never got up in church during testimony service and shared it.
This is a platform for it. And please, I want you definitely to continue. But I wanted to kind of jump in and say, and you won't forgive your sister because she hung up on the phone with you. Exactly. You see what I'm saying? Like people are. I just need y'all to see the level of how deep it can go.
Exactly.
And so continue to talk about your testimony and how forgiveness is really for you.
It is. It's exactly for you, because the other person really don't care. They're going on about their lives or whatever they're doing, and you still mad, angry, hurt, holding on to it. If I did something to you, and you took it right out of my hand and hold on to it. That's what we do. We hold on to it. I'm mad. In 1973, they slapped me, and, we still hold on to stuff.
It's so silly.
It does not benefit you at all. And it just gives the enemy an edge. And it clearly tells us in Matthew that Jesus said, you got to forgive each other here in order for me to forgive your sins. How you going to, come on. Jesus was on the cross in the midst of it.
Yeah.
Here we are, long gone, done with it, and we still can't forgive. Jesus was hung. He's looking at the people that put the nails in his hand.
And the same people that he healed.
Exactly.
The same people that was saying Hosanna.
Exactly.
Was saying nail him to the cross.
Exactly. They was like, we'll take Jesus instead of
Barabbas.
Yes.
I can't.
But we get so upset, and sometimes my thing to people is that, look at, what are you angry about? What have you forgiven someone about? And put it before the Lord. And that's the other thing with forgiveness, is that it doesn't condone what they did.
Mm-hmm.
We
Okay,
have to
that's
realize
good.
that.
That's
We're
good.
not condoning
That's
anything
good.
that they've done, but what we need to do is forgive them so they can move on as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's primarily for you. But some people, they're afraid to say something.
Well, talk about what's the because the thing is, it's a process. So what's the process to forgetting? Because you didn't say, you know what, I need to forgive this man for taking my heart. Your children are your heart.
Yes. And God left them in my care to,
Right,
to
so then you
protect.
probably feel at some point some sense of guilt. Where did I fall short? Not saying, but some people, I can see somebody, where did I fall short? And then you can take a blame, so talk about the process and the walking through to get to that place of I'm free.
Even when situations came up, of course I went through the blame game. Maybe if I, didn't leave them with him.
Yeah. But this is their father, though.
Exactly. But you think of all kind of things. And so, every time those kind of thoughts came upon me, because it was even more, we really believed in the scriptural basis of he's the head of the house. Primarily, he was the breadwinner. I worked, but I bought shoes with my
Right.
but
he was cute.
And so so it was a whole tumbling effect, and that everything was affected by it. And every time something happened, will feel anger coming on, or I get a bill, and then I'll go ooh, and then I say, you know what, God, you're right.
How did it affect your level of trust then for people? And so maybe you're healed, set free, but then getting in other relationships. How are you walking with and dealing with that even now?
Spirit of discernment.
Yes.
It's really,
yes.
We could go, that's a whole nother segment, but praying about it. I have a standard, probably why I'm still single.
Me too. Well, that's going to be next week. We're talking about being single.
Okay.
Next week.
I'm coming back next week.
Yes.
But, nonetheless, I have dated, and I have to say that although, I have male friends I've dated that just end up being a friend, but I trust him to this point where if I can't get my girls from school, I'll call him and be like, oh, his name is actually on there on the list because there is a trust, a level of trust, and honestly, reaction when I do eventually share this. No, this is not a first date conversation.
Yeah, no, right. Ladies, don't give it all on the first date. That people can't always handle all of the deepness.
Exactly.
What your mama and your daddy did and the husband. No.
And, and even I've been on some dates where none of them never knew why. I'll just say, I got a divorce. It didn't work out.
Yeah.
And pretty much leave it at that. And, it just so even with, discerning who you share this story with.
Right.
That's
good. That's an exposure piece.
Exactly. And I just continue to talk myself through this. That, hey, you're healed, even when I didn't feel like I was healed from it. That I had to operate out of forgiveness, when I didn't want it to give the forgiveness.
Did you ever feel anger towards God?
You know what?
Because a lot of people, they don't always like to admit that because, let's just be honest, we're like, okay, especially when I can't say a thing, like, twisted about, the way I feel about God around my mama. Because that's how we were raised, and nope, you take all the blame. But a lot of times people are harboring bitterness towards God because it's like, well, God, how could you let this happen? Well, did you ever experience that, or that didn't?
That didn't happen because I had already overcome that part with the death of my sister. And that had happened probably about 2 years previous. Okay. And I was saying, God, she was on a mission for you. She telling everybody about you. Why? And I knew God as a healer. And so I'm honestly, after the doctors had pronounced my sister dead, I'm telling everybody, I need y'all to stop putting this in the atmosphere because God is still going to do a miracle. And I still was expecting a miracle. So when it didn't happen, when I'm standing there waiting on her to breathe, and it didn't breathe, and then I was like, "Why? What's up, God?" Basically. And so a bitterness attempted to set in, but thank God the saints that were around me was like, she was right for the picking. She had did what God had told her to do. That's why it seemed like she was running so fast, and that everybody that she came in contact with, she always witnessed. She had got in contact with people that we hadn't seen in years, and they came to the homegoing and saying, your sister ministered to me just a week ago. You know, I'm like, when? You know, and she wasn't telling everybody this. So the bitterness part with, you know, asking God why and being angry about it, I had overcome that. So I knew already that, God, your plan, your will. We always want to pray God's will. But are not ready to accept it.
That's true. A lot of us are manipulative. We don't want to admit it. We want it God, but we want it our way. Exactly. You know what I mean? So I want to talk a little bit about closure. Because a lot of times when we think about forgiveness, we think that we're going to get a certain feeling or a certain, like, okay, I said I'm sorry, they said I'm sorry, and now we're good. Sometimes the forgiveness is without closure. Is that right?
Oh, yeah, most definitely without closure. I'm not looking to have any kind of conversation and ask him why or anything like that.
Did he go to prison for that?
Yeah, he's in prison for it.
Oh, my God, still?
Yeah, still. So, but you know what? God had me in a place when the judge asked me, did I have something to say? And I had to say it to the judge. I couldn't say it to him. And so I asked the judge, I said, the only thing, I said, because I serve a God that is completely in control. And he knows best for all of us. And I can't tell you give him the maximum or the minimum. But what I can say is, I'm going to ask you to extend the same grace God has extended you and have mercy on him. And that's because I knew another side of him. Because I know personally behind everything is the spirit behind everything. And we make the choice to decide to listen to the spirit or go into warfare. But that's why I ask for mercy. And even to this day, I forgive him. No, I don't want to hang out with him or be in his presence or anything like that. And even if God had that, if it presented itself, I honestly believe that I would take the high road and tell him, God bless you, and move around, basically, and not looking for any self-glory or saying, you know, I did this.
Sometimes anytime you're not looking for redemption or anything like that. So talk to the people, anyone that's out here in Radio Land and on Facebook Live that is struggling with forgiveness. We kind of talked about the process, but if you have a word for them, someone who's really struggling because maybe it wasn't their child, but it was them. They were subjected to rape, or they were subjected to who knows what, and and almost the world would say, you got a right not to forgive. You got a right to be upset. You do need to go and knock them upside the head. How do we deal with that level of offense?
Oh yeah, the world told me all the time that I had the right to get away with something, and that they shouldn't put me in jail. But no, I didn't take those chances. But that you have to decide, make up in your mind, what is it benefiting you? To be angry, to treat everyone like the offender. So it's a personal choice. And if you decide to let it go so you can be healed, so you can walk in peace, if you don't want peace, then hold on to it.
See?
And
it doesn't change. It doesn't. It's not affecting. That's why I want to get through. It's not you being bitter and upset. It's not getting them back.
No, it's not getting them back. It's not. It's destroying you. And so decide today if you want to build yourself back up and do it God's way. And if you want your own sins to be forgiven. There's so many angry people in the church. They working and thinking they shouting and doing all this, but they gonna get to heaven and God gonna go, I know you not.
Right.
Because it clearly tells us in the Word that we have to forgive each other in order for our own sins to be forgiven.
Baby.
So Jesus was hung on the cross for nothing for you if you have not forgiven your brothers or sisters.
Baby, I can take it.
So I'm
talking right.
Pleading and begging those. Go to the altar, and the altar don't have to be at the church. It could be right there in your living room, your kitchen, in your car, wherever you are right now. At work, go to the bathroom room. Yes, and you really need to get there because it's a place where you want God to forgive you.
Yes, you already know, but I'm like trying to not go in.
Go on in.
Mia, I love you. Thanks so much for being on the show. We're going to come back with your Kingdom Solution for Real World Issues. Thank you guys so much. This is Soul Cry by Sarita Campbell. An amazing song that definitely is very fitting for what we just talked about. Oh,
I'm surprised.
Leah, thank you for your. Now that was a time to be transparent. Like you don't understand how many people you probably just set free. Seriously.
God.
Like literally, some people are set free right now because you opened your mouth, and I can't even. Oh,
Thank you for encouraging me too.
I love you, sis. Okay, well, yes, you can sit right there because I'm just gonna close out, so I'm sitting with a next chair. Let me see, she's gonna go for it.
Joe, okay, I did.
My God.
Okay.
And then I see that's why I needed it to go because I was a little frustrated with the music, but we got it now. What time is it again? I think you tell me. 55. Okay. So then, just let me know when it's 8:59. Like once we come back, I think I might have like 2 minutes. Okay. So y'all enjoy that? Y'all need to forgive. Okay? They can hear us. Seriously. Let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go. Let it go. That was awesome.
Let me go play this other song.
How long is it?
To 6:59.
Oh, 8:59. No. I want to stop it at 8.
I'm tripping. It's
What
6.
What time is it again?
Yeah,
It's actually
Okay, so at 57 you will come back.
Alright.
And I still have to operate out of this week.
See?
So it's a continuous.
Yeah, so when I come back, it's just going to be me talking.
Okay, no problem. You just sound cool in the headphones.
Oh, we'll put it on. We look cool too. Like.
You look cool. Okay. Bye-bye. Looks like I need to have some turntables or something.
Is it 57?
No, not yet.
Hey, this is the perfect song though for this. Hey, this is my favorite one, Sarita.
It's 57.
57. Okay, we can fade down. What's up, Milwaukee in the world? And we're back. Wow. What an amazing show. And so, as you understand, our purpose is really to provide kingdom solutions to real world issues. We talked about the price of transparency. We talked about forgiveness. And that's your challenge this week. Forgive. It's not for them. It's for you. Get free. Talk to your friends, your family, your mama, your dog. Look, go forgive your dog. I don't know what, but you need to get free today. So know that, forgiveness is for you. And, I always challenge you guys to look in the word for it because I'm just a girl, that has a show and that I want to just bring up the different issues and topics, but it really takes for you to go and do the footwork. So get in your word, talk to your pastors. How do I begin the process of forgiveness? There are answers out there if you seek them. So again, thank you to Arnita Holloman of Arnita Renee Enterprises for sponsoring this broadcast. I love you, sis. Make sure you check out her website at www.arnitarenee.com. And you can also call her at 414-915-9298. She's a professional counselor, speaker, educator, and advocate. And she's available to book at your next event. And she's also just an amazing, amazing woman. Make sure you check her out. You heard some of the events. I'll make sure I post them in my group. So follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. Follow your girl so you can stay connected. Shout out to Montreal Kane of Kane Enterprises for all your support. Shout out to Pastor Pease for the amazing food you guys got going on over there. And also shout out to all of my amazing guests. Minister Joel Peterson, thank you so much for your time, for us to be able to talk about the price of transparency, to expose or not to expose. Sarita Campbell, make sure that you check her out. She's on iTunes, she's on YouTube, she's everywhere you want to be. And she has this isn't her, the Bloody Hands is her most current project. But she has so much music. Again, she's a singer, songwriter, bass player, drummer, everything. I love Sarita. And support our local artists. She's right here in Milwaukee. And also Lydia Beasley. Make sure you check them out tonight, The Accountants. They're doing the Accounting and Wine tonight on Martin Luther King Drive. I'll be sure to post that particular event in my group as well. And of course, Mia Lott. Oh my God. for her complete transparency, talking about some issues that are, really, really deep, but we are overcome by the words and our testimony. So I appreciate me a lot for coming out and just being a part of the broadcast and a part of the show. Now, I need you guys to tune in next week, every Wednesday. Tell your friends, tell your family, support. I need you guys so I can stay on air. I love you so much. 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. every Wednesday. Check out your girl, Iberia, on Saved and the City. And we're out. Thanks so much, guys. We got through it. That was so powerful. Thanks, guys. You turn off this feed.